Hi everyone, good evening. So yesterday we were discussing about NSG, Network Security Group, to which port it needs to be allowed and to which port it needs to be blocked for a specific VMs. So we can assign an NSG to a VM, and also we can assign an NSG to the subnet level. So if you assign an NSG to the subnet, then whatever the rules you write inside the NSG, it will apply to all the VMs inside the subnet. Or else if you assign a NSG to a VM, then whatever the rules is applied, it is going to be applied to that particular VM. That is what we discussed yesterday, and also we discussed what is the difference between stateful and stateless. NSG is not a stateless, it's a stateful security group. So one way is enough. Once incoming is allowed, then outgoing is not required to allow inside the rules. So today again we are going to talk about little bit extension of yesterday's session, and then we'll jump into the application security group. So let me discuss few things about yesterday's session. Um, so yesterday we have discussed one VNet will be there, and suppose if you have one or two subnets and assume one VM. So this is a VNet and this is a subnet and this is a VM. So NSG you can apply to the subnet or maybe VM level. So if you apply NSG to the subnet, then whenever you create an NSG and if you assign it to the subnet, then like suppose if you are allowing 22 port and 80 port over here, then you no need to assign NSGs to the VMs. So inside this subnet, if you have hundreds of VMs, then this rule will be applied to all the VMs. But we need to make sure that is it necessary to apply same rules for all the machines. If it is same, then very simple, you can assign this NSG to the subnet. Instead of assigning to each and every machine, you assign it to the subnet so that it will apply to all the VMs. Otherwise, for some VMs like 20 VMs is expecting some other rules. Maybe it is running with some other different applications and it is expecting some different port, maybe 8080. Then to those VMs, you create one more NSG, and this NSG you apply to those VMs. So always remember, one VM cannot have more than one NSG, but one NSG can be assigned to multiple VMs here. So for example, instead of, forget about this scenario, like as I mentioned here, you have 100 machines and 100 machines need 20 to 80. Okay, so this NSG rule we apply to subnet, or else you can do another way also. The same NSG you apply to all the VMs. Go to the VM and associate this NSG. Means single NSG you can associate to multiple VMs also. This way, same 2280 port numbers are allowed here, and that NSG is going to be associated to multiple VMs wherever it is required. This way also it's possible, or else you put it inside the subnet, then it is going to apply for all the VMs. But sometimes some VMs doesn't need this one. Assume in this subnet there might be some Windows servers which don't require port 22. 3389 RDP port is required, and it is not running with the web server HTTP, or because Linux HTTP or Nginx uses 80. IIS web server in Windows also we have web service IAS, it might use some other port number. So then it needs another NSG rules. So, but mostly if common machines are using the same, then you can use the single NSG to the multiple VMs instead of having a NSG for each and every VM. Like whenever we are creating VM, it is creating one NSG, but it is not required. Create one NSG and like for example, if it is a Windows servers, create one more NSG and which requires a 3389 and some other port number, something like this. So this is for Windows. Assign this to the Windows servers, and this is for the Linux servers. So few NSGs will help you to manage maximum of your servers. This is how it will work. So subnet level also you can apply. If you are applying for subnet level, then you should not attach any NSG to your VMs because there is no use. For example, here in NSG level, subnet level, you assign this NSG. Then if you are having NSG for VM also, then here if you mention in NSG, obviously here also you need to mention 22 and 80 port number to access this VM through SSH or through web. So same whatever we are allowing here, here also you should allow the same. Then why you should have unnecessary another NSG here, separate security here, we don't require. So here it is already available. If you don't allow this 80 here, then whoever is accessing the traffic, the web traffic is coming from the internet, then it should come from the subnet and it should go to the VM. Subnet is allowing, but from the subnet, once it's reached the VM, then VM is not allowing to go and access the 80. So that's why instead of having multiple NSGs, better to have here only one NSG. So because same rules you need to apply here also. Understood? And also yesterday we discussed if you don't have any NSG to subnet level or any NSG to the VM, means at the time of creating a VM, you did not selected option to create an NSG, means it doesn't have an NSG. And subnet level also there is no NSG. Then automatically it means everything is accessible from the internet. And it can go outside and access everything to the external world also. A VM can go and access. There is no limits, no security, nothing. If you don't attach any NSG to a VMs. So this is how NSGs will work. So now we'll talk about the application security group. One NSG for subnet and another NSG to VM in the one NSG for subnet and another NSG to VM in the subnet. The both NSG applicable to that VM. So first it will take the subnet NSG because subnet will come first. So whatever the rules are applied, but both will be applied. But in both the NSGs, you should have the same rules. Or if it doesn't have same rules, then it will not work properly. If NS, as I said, if subnet is allowing port 80, but your VM NSG is not allowing port 80, then you cannot reach the server to access the web page. That's how it will work. Regarding NSG concept to VM, is it same with AWS instance? AWS is little bit different. There you have a security group concept and network ACL concept. So network ACL is a stateless. Here we don't have anything as a stateless here. Only one security group, network security group. Little bit different. So Ranjit, as I mentioned, subnet NSG will be having more priority. Okay. So now let's go to the application security group. So application security group, not all projects will use this application security group. Whenever you have application security group Azure, so whenever you have huge network, then we use application security groups. So application security groups enable you to configure network security as a natural extension of an application structure, allowing you to group virtual machines and define network security policies based on those groups. To understand this is little bit complicated, so I'll explain in a simple way. So as I mentioned, if your environment is very big, see if it is a small environment, managing is very easy. If environment is very big, lot of machines are running, then managing is also a bit difficult. So what we need to do now, then we need to introduce this application security groups. If your environment means lot of networks are there, lot of VMs are running inside that, then we can use application security group to make it easy. Our administration job, to make it easy, we use this application security groups. So it's like, for example, basically, if, most of you know, there is a three-tier architecture. Means whenever I am accessing, for example, Flipkart.com or any sites, front end we call it as an web servers. So we call this as an web server is running, and there will be middleware server is going to be there, and back end it will be like a database. Compulsory, without database, nothing is going to work. So this will be a database. So here front end, from I'm talking about Linux perspective. So here we use HTTP or Nginx. Any of this, it acts like a web service configuration. And middleware application, lot of JBoss and Glassfish and WebLogic, Oracle WebLogic, and IBM WebSphere. Like lot of softwares are available. Like Tomcat is also Tomcat, Apache Tomcat. So these are the multiple middleware applications to establish any kind of web servers like websites applications. These are like middleware. And this is a web servers, and backend it will be like DB database. So database, multiple databases apart from cloud. If you take Oracle or Oracle DB, NoSQL databases are there. Multiple databases are available. MySQL database, MariaDB database, a lot of databases are available in the market. MariaDB, MySQL, these are like outside, like in the traditional data center. In the cloud, they will provide different clouds. In Azure also, they are providing Azure SQL database and Cosmo DB. Like this, they are providing in the Azure cloud. So here, so these are like if you have multiple setup, this kind of setup, then what you are going to do? So here, if you have same kind of so like this is called three-tier architecture. So web server, middleware, and database compulsory. So web server is using what? Web server use mostly port 80 to access. And example middleware is using port 8080, and database is using something like 3000. Assume this is a port numbers which is using. Now, if you want to apply NSG rule, then as I mentioned here, for web server, if it is running on the same ports, what we can use, just now I told you. So you can have a single NSG and you can able to manage it. But when new server comes, again you need to add that new server also into that NSG. And here also same way, if this is also running 8080 port numbers, then again this is one NSG. And here again for databases you should have one more NSG. So like this multiple NSGs will be there, and it is going to allow this particular ports individually. I'm talking about individually. So for web server one NSG, middleware one NSG, database one NSG, we are going to create. But instead of that, what we can do in the application security group, we will create a application security group and add all these web servers into that application security group. So we'll create a, for example, app ASG, means application security, first web ASG and app ASG and a DB ASG. So this way I'm going to create application security groups, and I am going to add all these web servers into this web ASG and add all these application related servers into the app ASG and this database servers into the DB ASG. And once I assign all these servers, I'm going to create one NSG. End of the day, to create rules, we should use NSG only. Application security group, there you cannot create any rules. We are collecting the information and putting in, it's kind of a tag. So all these machines we are like putting inside this ASGs, that's it. Once NSG is created, inside this NSG, what I'm going to do, source and destination and port. So like whenever we are trying to create NSGs, these are the default information it is going to show. So now here, what we'll do, web ASG is the source, and destination will be like app ASG, and port will be like 8080, and app ASG and destination will be like DB ASG, and port will be like 3000. Same way, any and web ASG and then 80 and 22. So this way we are going to create a NSG. Let me make it smaller for this one. How to undo? Like what is the Control Z? What is it for undo? Control Y. Yeah, thank you. So I'm going to create this NSG, and inside this, while creating the rule, these are the rules I'm going to write it, which means here web ASG, this one want to communicate to this one. In real world, web server will communicate to the middleware will communicate to the database. Web server will never go and directly connect to the database. So this way it will communicate. So there is no communication to DB and web. Only web will connect to middleware will connect to the DB. So that's why rule is like web source is web ASG, and destination is app ASG, means this one will go and connect to this one, source and destination. So to connect to this middleware servers, what is the port number? 8080. We provided 8080. Second rule we will write app ASG to DB ASG, means this one should go and connect to the database. So that's why we are writing another rule, app ASG to the DB ASG, and you are going to give 3000, whatever the database port number is there, this way we need to give it. And then this one any to WebASG. Why? Because web server need to be accessed from the internet. So because this is a front end website, whatever it is running, it runs here. So then whoever trying to do access from the internet, they should have the access. So that's why we provided anyone can come and access this one to the web ASG, and it web application is running on port 80 number, and we are allowing 80. And why providing 22? Because for administration point of view, as an Azure administrator, if I want to connect to this machine to do any activity, to clean up any things, or server is not working properly, then I want to connect it. That's why I'm allowing 22 also, so that I can go and log into that server as a Azure administrator. So this way, you can reduce it. Only one SG is enough in this scenario. And these three application security groups are enough. If you have this way, hundreds of servers, same scenario, web, middle, and a database like this, if you have hundreds of servers, only one time effort is add all these 100 web servers into the web ASG for the first time, and all these middleware servers into the app ASG, and DB into the DB. That's it. So here, very simply, within one NSG only, you can manage everything. These three ASGs and this one NSG, it is going to work. In future, same kind of setup, one more application is added like web, middleware, and DB. We just do those three will be added into this web ASG and app ASG, and we'll just assign this NSG to that particular machines. That's it. So very easy way we can able to manage even though it's hundreds of servers. For example, uh, one server it is running with the not 8080 or maybe 8081 also. No need to worry. Here you just go in this rule, modify it, and write it here in the same. Allow one more port also, 8081 also. That's it. So only you are going to manage with these three ASGs and this one NSGs. So that is how it will work. So what I'm going to do now, all these web servers will be part of this web ASG, and all this middleware will be part of app ASG, and all these databases will be part of DBSG. So this way, very easily we can manage hundreds of servers also, because mostly if one organization picks up one application, mostly it will use the same ports to maximum servers. If they are changing the ports also, you can allow that extra port over here, then multiple ports also it will be allowed. So web will connect to middleware and middleware will connect to the database. This way it is going to happen the communication. So the same scenario repeats, hundreds of servers are there, then this way we can able to manage it. So to achieve it, what we need to have, I'm not going to create these many servers. I will create these three servers now. And before that, we need to have the setup of a VNet, and you can create three subnets, each machine into different subnet, and then one VNet, one resource group if it is okay. Then after that, I'm going to create this application security group, and also then we'll create this NSGs. Understood? These are in three different subnets. Yes, because always web is like a public kind of subnet, because mostly it is accessible through the internet, and database is like completely private subnet. It should be, these both are into the private subnets. So middleware applications will be in the separate subnet, and DB will be the separate subnet. So that's why they are in the three different subnets. Okay, thank you, Surya. Let me connect the charging. Ah. So let me create this practical the setup, and then we'll go and do that. So I'll create a template. Previously I was using this template, right? I'll create a document quickly so that we can execute commands instead of that. So this is to create an RG. I'll just give Azure RG, and then 3 resource group is not required. One VNet, one VNet is enough. Azure RG VNet name is I'm just giving ASG hyphen RG hyphen address hyphen subnet name. This is the name I'm giving for subnet. West US. Okay, so this will create subnet, sorry, VNet with one subnet, but let me create two more subnets. It's okay to have all the three in one subnet also, but in real time it will be the different subnets. So here I don't have any command VNet create. All these are for VNet creation only. Let me go and check another document. Somewhere we were using for peering or what, subnet command also, creation of subnet, not VNet peering. VNet. Yeah, this is our. So I'll use these two commands, and here I'll use it. So Azure network, Azure RG1, and this is a name hyphen hyphen VNet name. What is a VNet name we given? This is a VNet name hyphen n Azure RG1 subnet 2, but this should be the different 1.2.0 1 dot, and I'm just preparing a document, okay, so that once if I upload it this one to the GitHub, then it will be easy for you also. Instead of we are going through the console dashboard to create everything, and then VM creations, VM creation, VM creation, resource group, Azure RG1 hyphen name, web server 1, very good. Would do Azure RG. This is a VNet name. We need to change it, and subnet name we need to change it. And this is the first subnet. Username remaining is okay. And here I'm going to change instead of web server, app server, and VNet name the same. Subnet name is -2, and then three. This I'm going to give DB. So here VNet name is same, subnet name is 3. So let's see if it is having any mistake, again it will throw an error. So all together we'll make it as a one script and we'll try to execute it. If it is okay, everything is okay. If I did any mistake, any spelling mistake, or if I provided any wrong network names, then it will throw an error. We'll do that. Subnet name different. Change resource group name. Yo. Yeah, correct. Here Azure RG1. Okay. Subnet name here, subnet ASG-RG, ASG-RG. Okay, these are the subnet names, right? Correct. Thank you for the correction. Now I hope everything is fine. Okay, where is my dashboard here? VI ASG rules.sh. Open this, insert and paste it and save. Change the permissions. Now execute it. So it is creating, I think you understood. So it is creating one resource group. Inside that resource group, creating one VNet, and this command along with the VNet, it's creating one subnet also. And these two commands to create two more subnets, because we are going to launch 3 VMs, which will be in 3 different subnets. And then this command is to create VM. One is web server, app server, DB server in 3 different subnets. So, oh, I think this is correct only. This is correct. So this is in the subnet 1, subnet 2, and subnet 3. In 3 different subnets, we are creating it. Once it is created, then we should go and remove the NSG. Yeah, I will share. I will upload this to the same Git URL. Okay, once I finish this session, I'll upload it to the same. Actually, I used to have this command, but somehow it is missing inside this repo. I used to have application -ASG document also. I missed it. So that's why now again I'm preparing it. I'll upload it to the this repo once I finish the class. And let me go and see. Just we need to keep on scroll up so that if any errors are coming. So as of now, I don't see any errors. So once it is getting created, automatically all these VMs will get default NSG. So we don't want the default NSG. I will go and remove the NSG, whatever it is applied, because this NSG which I'm going to create, only this energies I am going to assign to them, not the default one. So we need to remove it. So once if it gets created, so whichever the options will get deprecated, it will give kind of warning that next time onwards you should not use so and so deprecated options. You should use the latest options which they are providing. So VMs are getting created now. If you see, one VM is got created. I think it's creating second VM. Once it is done, it will create the third VM. It's taking time to create the second one. Is it okay? Okay, second one is also created. Third one is getting created. So in the meantime, what we'll do, we'll go to the virtual machines. Here, 2 machines are created by default. So when we create it automatically, it will create this NSG. So what I need to do, I will go and remove that NSG. So select the virtual machine and networking. And here you can see network security group. This is a security group, automatically it is attached. Click on it and you can see network interfaces. Select this and disassociate. We are removing the sense, not the NSG. Link between the NSG and VM, we are removing it. NSG will be still available as an independent now, this NSG. Now we remove the link. Now again, I'm going back to the virtual machine. web server, networking. So here you can see NSGs, web server VM1 NSG and network interface. Obviously, this NSGs will be attached to the NIC cards only. So that's why you need to go to the NIC cards, select it, disassociate. Yes. Successfully done. Now virtual machines. What happened to the third machine? Is it not yet created? Yeah, it's created. So DB server, go to the networking and NSGs, network interfaces, select, disassociate. So we removed now. So all these three VMs doesn't have. Same way we need to do it for all these VMs. Whenever they gets created, we should not use the NSGs by default. So now what we need to do, we'll go and create the application security groups now. So here in the search bar, you go here and search with the application security groups. You can find your application security group. Click on it, create, and it's very simple. It contains nothing. It's kind of just a tagging kind of thing. So if you see resource group, I'm using same Azure RG1 and name this one web ASG. This is the name I'm providing. Create it. Nothing is available inside this. Just a name and create it. So this is like, so it's getting created. And again, I go to the application security groups, create the second one, resource group same, and app ASG, app ASG, create. Then we need to create a DBASG. Create same resource group and a DB ASG. So one, these are just a application security group with some name we created. That's it. Now what we need to do, I created app ASG. Now only thing I need to do, I need to add this, sorry, not this one, these servers to this app ASG. That's it. If you have 10 servers of middleware, add all them to this app ASG. Same way for web ASG, just add them. Add all these web servers to this ASGs. Now we are going to do the same. So once these are added, completed, we'll just go application security groups. And here we can see three. Nothing is inside this one. You can see properties, logs, that's it. These are common and these are generic. So now what you need to do, go to the VMs, go to the web server and networking. And here no NSG is there. So nothing is there. Only you can see virtual network. That's it. Subnet, in which subnet, which VNet it is there. What is the public IP? No NSG. And here you can see inbound roles, outbound roles. And here you can see application security groups. Select this one. Configure the application security group. And here provide. This is a web, right? So this is the one. Select it and save. So like this, go to the every web server and add this web ASG as your application security group. That's it. Now I'll go to the DB server, same DB, networking, application security group, configure it, DB, save. Now same thing we need to do it for app server. Application security group, app. So now we took only one server, but in real world many servers will be there. So add all those servers, related servers to that specific application security group. So once this is done, now we need to create a NSG now. This is just an application security group. It doesn't mean that you are going to write any rule here. Now we need to create an NSG. So go to the NSG and create a new security group. And this one, resource group, one NSG. Some name I'm providing it here and create it. Because we removed NSG for all the machines, and this NSG is going to use this application security groups. So one NSG is enough for hundreds of servers, only single NSG, easily manageable. All servers, new servers are coming, just put them into this ASGs. If DB, put into the DBSG. Middleware inside this one, just adding inside this one. And then automatically the rules will apply to that. We'll see how it will work. So NSG is created. By default, these are the rules applies. Right now on top of this, we need to create a new rule now. So add a rule. Here yesterday we discussed all these options. Now we are talking about this option, application security group. Because of this option, we are discussing all this scenario. Any means you don't know from where user is trying to access. Then you need to select any. IP address means source IP address means yesterday we discussed. Where is that? Source means whoever trying to access. So this is source, this is destination, means he is trying to access this machine. Then this will become as a source and this is destination. If he goes and access this one, then this will become source and this is the destination. So same way here, source IP address means who is trying to access. We need to provide that IP range. In real world, your organization, like different subnets will be different, private IPs will be there, VNets will be there. If you want to give any specific IP range, we can give it here. And from source, are you coming with specific port to access anything, or else you can give star. And destination, same. Any means it's like anything you can go and access. And IP address means for specific IP you want to access, or specific IP range, the complete network, the CAD range you want to access, that will be decided here. And service tag is also discussed yesterday. Azure is having lot of services which will not have IP addresses, which will have URLs to access, AKS and Azure Container Registry. These all contains services which provides URL. So you cannot provide URL here. So in that scenario, you need to select service tag, and then you need to select that particular service here, so that this IP range guys can able to access that particular service, and vice versa also. And this is also service tag. Then source is also service and destination is also service. Both can able to communicate. This way we can provide. And my IP already shown you, like automatically it is picking my public IP, whichever internet is provided for me, it contains one public IP. So automatically it is taking that public IP address here. If you see here, that is the purpose of my public IP. But we are talking about this application security group. So select this option. Now source application security group. Here source means what? Web server is source, middleware is the destination. Web server is trying to connect to the middleware. Whenever someone searches in the Flipkart so and so item, then it will go to web server. Web server will then connect to the middleware. Middleware will connect to the DB. So for web server, middleware is the destination. So source is web, and source port any, and destination is again application security group, and destination is app. So this way we can select. And service, it's only HTTP, or else you can mention uh, custom. Then you can mention here port 22 also, so that you can able to access. And what kind of action you want to take, and here use 200 priority and give some name, allow SSH and web, this way. Because once you create a name, remaining things you can change. You can change service, port, all these things, but you cannot change the name. So once it is created, then you cannot change it. With the help of name itself, we can able to identify what is the purpose of that rule. So this way we can create it. But as of now, we did not install any application or database. We cannot install into that. We are just assuming that it's an web application, middleware, and database, but we are not install anything inside the servers. It is created. Now another rule. Source is application security group, and this one is now app want to try to connect to the database, and database destination application security group. And here you can see dbus, db asg, and then port is 3000, because it is connecting to this db from here to here. 3000 is the port number. Okay, and then priority 210, allow. Now add it. Now third one, third rule for the same NSG, source any, because it is accessing to the internet here, to this web servers through the internet. So who is the source, we don't know. From anywhere they can come to the internet. So source don't know. Destination application security group and web ASG. And here we can mention custom, and if application is running with 80, then you can use 80 and 21. And name allow SSH web. That's it. So understood, right? Now this is like add. So 3 got created. If you see, source any, destination WebASG. To this server, anyone can go and connect. And this one, application servers will go and connect to the database. No need to connect anyone from the internet. Basically, as of now, this VMs got public IP address automatically, but generally VMs doesn't have a public IP by default. Only for few web servers it is going to contain, like as I shown just now. These web servers will have the IP addresses. Middleware databases or all other servers doesn't have public IP address. They will be in the private only. So that's why WebASG. So what is inside this WebASG? From anywhere, anyone can go and connect this WebASG. Means what are the servers are available here? They can connect to all these servers to the port 20. Oh, actually, I should give 22 there. So not 21. It should be to do the SSH. Now this one source is application ASG and destination is JBoss is ASG, DBASG. So from here to here to connect, one rule is applied. So from when connecting from middleware to database, 3000 should be allowed. So 3000 is allowed, and this one WebASG to the app ASG. From here to here, what are the port it is using, then you should provide that one. So now this security group is ready. This you need to go and attach to the VMs. So before that, what we can do, as of now, VMs doesn't have any NSGs. So let's go web server. So if you go to this web server, take the public IP. So we'll see whether without NSG, if a machine doesn't have a NSG, and subnet level also we don't have an NSG. As of now, machine doesn't have an NSG. Do you think that I can able to connect or not? Just send me message in the chat. By that time, I'll try to connect it. So machine doesn't have any NSG. Subnet level also I did not assign an NSG. So now I'm trying to connect to the server. So will it allow me or deny me? And this is a username. Accept. So I can able to connect. So as I mentioned yesterday, there is no blocking for you if your VM doesn't have any security group. So without security, who will stop you to block it, right? So minimum logic it is. Nothing is stopping you. You can just go and log into that machine. Nothing is logging, stopping to access the server with 22 port number. So now what we are going to do, we will attach the NSG which we created to all these VMs. So for that, go to the networking, or maybe better to go to the NSG only. It will be quite easy. NSG and one NSG. Go to the network interfaces, because we will attach NSG to the interfaces only of to the VM. So network interface, associate, select app server. Okay. associate DB server. Okay. And associate web server. So same NSG assign it to all the machines. How many machines are there? Like all the machines in the sense which using the same web servers with same port numbers, middleware with same port numbers, then you can attach the same NSG. Single NSG is going to apply everything. So now all these are applied. Understood? So now if I go back to the NSG, one NSG. So this way rules has been applied. So now after NSG also I can able to go and connect because it's allowing 80 and 22. And whenever servers from here will go and try to access, then it will web servers want to access it. It will take this source and destination. This way it is going to happen. So these three will be remain same. Only new servers, whenever it comes, it will be added inside this web ASG or app ASG. Then it will be also part of this concept. So whenever if someone trying to access, then automatically they can able to access it without having any problem. But one problem here is now I'll take the basically as I mentioned for virtual machines. Now I'll take the app server. I'll take the public IP. But in real world, there will be no public IP for middleware or DB. Only for this you'll have public IP, but still for practice purpose, public IP is there to the app server. Now you tell me whether I can able to communicate it or not. I'm trying to connect application server. Correct. Port 22 is not allowed. In the security group, port 22 is not allowed. Only it is allowed 8080. Means web server can go and connect internally via the application to go and connect the middleware. But if I want to do any administrative jobs to go inside the app server, then it is not going to accept. Why? Because here from web server to app ASG is allowed, but there is no rule to go and access. Anyone can go and access the port 22. So for that, what you need to do, if you want to go and log into the server as an administrator, you want to see something inside it, then you need to allow port 22 also to this rule. So what you can do, go here, not this one. Where is that? Okay, WebASG2 is also having 8022. So here I allowed 80 and 22 from WebASG to app ASG. Port 22 is allowed, but from outside I cannot able to connect. Where I can able to connect to the app ASG, I should be inside the WebASG server. From there I can go and connect to the app ASG. That's how it will work, because WebASG is having access to app ASG for 80 and 22, but actually it should be not 80, 80, because it's a middleware, this one. So from here to here, you are allowing 80 and 22 also. Means from here only it is possible, because you mentioned source is WebASG. So WebASG contains all the web servers. So from web servers, you are allowing to access these middleware servers, not from the internet, not from somewhere else. only you are having access to middleware to log into the server, then we should log in from the web servers, not from the internet. So now what I'm going to do, I think already I am inside the web server. So here I'm going to do SSH, and I need to take the private IP of the app server, virtual machines, app server, and because public IP always to communicate from the external world. So internally you should have private IP only. So log in with the, this is the one. I'm trying to do SSH from web server. Yes. And the password. This is the password. Yeah, connected. If you see here, I'm right now inside the host name is app server 1. Previously I was in where? Web server 1. From there I did SSH. So here, from here you can able to access the app server. Same way DB server also. If you want to do any activity, then you should go to the middleware server, and from there you can log into the DB server. Directly you cannot able to do that. NSG. So here again, but you need to allow 22 port number here, or else it will not accept. Let's try with this one, connecting database server also. From app ASG to DB ASG, we'll try to connect through SSH. So for that, we need to have a IP address of database server. We'll go there, VM, and don't take public IP, always prefer private IP. There is a public IP, private IP here. So this is a private IP of database server. Sitting from application server, I should able to connect. So I'll just do SSH. Able to connect from app server to DB server. How come? Yeah, why we can able to connect? Because of this rule. Where is this rule? Because of allow VNet inbound, any is there, right? Virtual network. Yesterday also we discussed. Because of this, internally all the VMs can able to connect. So what you can do, you can create a rule. I'll do one thing. I'll add a rule. Where is the option? To add a rule. Create. This is creating NSG. Move, delete, refresh, give feedback. Where inbound rules add. Okay, so here below this I'll create a new rule, and source any, destination any, This is one. Star. Okay. And I'll use Gine. If you want to make don't want to use this rule, allow VNet inbound internally, any machine can go and connect to any subnet. Then I mentioned deny. Okay, source any, destination any, port any. So this is top of this one. So obviously this will apply first instead of this one. And then on top of this, these three rules are there. So this will apply. That's why I mentioned 230 below this one, because these are more priority. So these rules will apply. And then after immediately this one, this will apply. So right now we don't have anything for the dbus SG. So now again we'll go back and exit and we'll try to connect. See, now I cannot able to connect to the dbus server. Why? Because internally in this one NSG, how it is there, any subnet can go and connect any machine in any of the subnet. So now I blocked it. That this is we cannot delete the existing rule which got created automatically. But what we can do on top of that, we created a rule and any deny. But these rules will apply because this is on top of this one. So basically, this is what we need to do in case if you don't want to allow everything by default. Understood? So this is how now we are simply just managing these servers with these three application security groups, one NSG. That's it. When new servers are added, like for example, if I create a new virtual machine now, the same setup, three VMs, if it gets created, then these three VMs will be added into this ASGs. That's it. Why it got expired? So these three VMs will be just added into the each and every ASG, and that NSG should be added to all these three VMs, and these three VMs, newly created VMs, should be added into these three ASGs. That's it. Your work is done. So it's very easy to manage in this way. So that is a purpose we use application security groups. So if you have any questions, you can ask me. Yeah, less the number, more the priority. Number should be less to have more priority. Sri. Network interface question mark means, can you please complete your question, Krishna Chaitanya? If public IP is not available and if we want to configure application, then how to connect? See, if public IP in real world will be available to only these web servers only, not inside these servers. So, for example, whenever you go to office, you carry your laptop, and once you sit in like in your ODC or maybe in the floor, when you connect the Wi-Fi cable of your office, then automatically you will be part of this environment. So you are going to get, your laptop is going to be allocated the IP which is using inside your data centers. What are the servers? The same IP range. So when you get the same IP range, then automatically all the VMs we are going to connect with the private IP only, not the public IP. When you are working from home, there is a concept called VPN concept will be there. So your company will give you one VPN. So that tool, when you install and connect that VPN, then automatically again you are inside your office network. So there you are going to get one IP of your data center, whatever they are using IP ranges. Then again you can able to connect your machines with a private IP only. Only web servers will have a public IP, and those public IPs also will be linked with the domain name, like www so and so domain name, and that will be used. We don't use that public IP to connect inside that server. Even though, for example, this VM is having public IP, in real world, we'll use the private IP of this machine and log into that server, because our machine, our laptop is assigned with the private IP from this range only whenever you go to office. Understood? We assign NSG to NIC. Instead, why don't we add NSG at subnet level? That's what in the uh, starting of the session I explained you, right? Why, when we should assign NSG to subnet, when we should assign NSG to NIC. Subnet means it will apply to all the what we say, VMs. Some VMs you don't want, then that's the reason. Is there any possibility to remove NSG to multiple VMs at a time instead of removing manually? That automation only, ARM templates or Terraform will work. Any automation work, we should go with the ARM templates or Terraform. Vijayvardhan. And if public IP is not allowed and we want to configure application, that I answered, is 420 is allowed for app servers too. There's no security, we can connect anywhere. Instead of deleting NSG, we can edit the default NSG to our requirements. Yeah, that is also possible. Instead of whenever we created 3 VMs, and those 3 VMs we disassociated with the VMs and we created a new one. If I'm going to edit a existing one, some people might confuse. They will think that okay, only we need to edit the existing one only. So that is not the case. That is also work. How people are understanding based on that. If I create a new one, then no confusion will be there. If I'm editing the existing one, some people might get confused. Oh, he created a VM and it got NSGs and that he's modifying it. But out of 3, you need to use only one. Remaining 2, again, you need to remove it, right? So instead of that, I created a new one. Bus for Raj. And down, please share comments. Yeah, I will upload this. Once I finish the class, I'll upload this document to the GitHub. I think everyone is having GitHub URL. Whoever doesn't have GitHub URL, I'll just share it once again, so that use it. I shared the GitHub URL, so you can download the commands which we are using. I'll upload today's commands also into that GitHub URL. Srikanth, is there any concept site-to-site VPN? I'm not sure as of now. I did not plan it. I don't think. I'll check the curriculum. If it is mentioned, then definitely I will tell you. Whatever is mentioned in the curriculum, we'll cover it. I'm not sure about it. I'll go through it. Okay, guys. Have a nice evening. Enjoy the weekend. We'll meet on Monday with a new networking concept. By that time, please do practice. It need a lot of practice. Could you please? What, Ganesh? Summarize what we discussed. Yeah, again, we'll discuss on Monday, whatever we completed today. Instead of end of every session, better to have next day session, whatever we discuss, that will be good, I think so. Will be helpful for late joiner. Okay. Yeah, from Monday onwards, I'll follow that. So, refer to some doc ISC. Ravinder, I did not get you. What is this? Refer to some doc ISC. I did not understand, Ravinder. What kind of document you want to refer and what is the purpose of it? I did not understand. Refer document ISC means infrastructure. I did not understand. Admin. Networking takes one more week. Yeah, next week also complete networking classes. Load balancer, firewall, gateway. I think traffic manager. I think so. So next week also complete networking classes only, mostly 100%. Okay. Have a nice weekend. Thank you. Thanks everyone.